Okay, here we go. This is Lazy New Pack. This is Dwarf Therapist. This is Dwarf Fortress. Great new world. This is going to be an ongoing series in which we learn about Dwarf Fortress, Dwarf Academy, maybe. Um, it's going to be certainly a place of learning. We're going to teach our dwarves a few things. A small world size is a good place to start, and if we have more minerals, it's going to make the learning opportunities far more frequent. So let's go. I'm going to try and make a fort. I'm going to try and make the fort go for as long as possible. Um, who knows what's going to happen though? And along the way, I am going to try and explain how I think how I play Dwarf Fortress, or how I would go about um, building a fort and try and make it like do some stuff. Maybe try and keep it around for more than a year or so. It's kind of a difficult game to get your hands around. I don't know, but hopefully, if you watch along, you can learn some things. You can pause this world gen at any time and use the world. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to try and make this series as fast and snappy and exciting and amazing as possible. And it's just going to be brilliant. So I hope you enjoy the ride. We're offloading units, and then before long we'll be able to play the game, which is coming. It's coming along soon for Steam in the forthcoming future. We've also got a new release, the Villains update, which is something which we'll be taking a look at in the future, but not just yet. This is just going to be a fun, ongoing series for me to do some recording and try my hand at this kind of thing. Let's start playing Dwarf Fortress. I'm not going to have anything flashy in this series. There's not going to be any editing. There's not going to be any cards or links or anything at all. But certainly, let me just say thank you to anybody who's been involved in supporting the game over the last 17 years or so. Here we go. On the left is the local map, and the middle is the regional, and on the right is the world map. And we can see the various civilizations and areas of the world. The continents of slapping. If we press tab, we can tab between various keys. We have all in this area. We've got everything we need: the sand, there's clay, there's soil, there's shallow metals, there's deep metals, there's flux-stone there. And if we look at the smaller map, there's a river locally, and we can move the embark area, which is currently at 4x4, to the river area. There's a couple of biomes, so we've got trees to the southeast. We might want to make the most of that area. Although it's scarce to the northwest, the southeast is woodland. We've got sand, we've got clay, we've got soil. As I say, everything we need. There's dwarves, there's humans, there's goblins, and there's elves. And there's two dwarven civilizations. They're both fairly healthy, and we'll go for the eastern civilization, the climactic selves, because the clasps of fealty are further away. And this just seems to me to be the way to go. Let's embark, press E, and then we're going to use Nebulatron as a template for our embark. So we don't have to worry too much about the skills or what we're taking. This is Okay, so if you do want to change anything, you can tab between the two screens, and you can change the skills of your dwarves, and you can add animals and take away animals and add various items of inventory. Press E to embark, and the game will begin shortly. Hopefully, we can move forwards in with some speed and get this Dwarf Fortress started. You can move around the map using the cursor keys is one way to do that, and you can also scroll in and out using your mouse. Third wheel, whatever you call it. There's we can press K. We can look at various different. There's lots of sand around in this area, which is very pretty. That's the barren area which we saw on the map, and then this area here it has hills, and we can move through the Z levels using the more than less than keys. F1 will take us back to our embark, the cart in the centre, the dwarves, looks like a horse, and another horse. Okay, and the game being paused, we're just going to select some trees to be chopped down, which will serve us in our various industries and in building items, and we will begin to dig into the earth. Strike the earth. We're going to build a channel, and we're going to use that channel to create downward ramp. And then once we're below the water level, we're going to dig a tunnel. A nice long tunnel within which we can seat our defences. So we can press U to see the units. There's now Daytan and Zephon. The miners are digging, and everybody else is going to be busy soon once this tree has been felled, and they can start to gather wood. And I'm going to create a wood pile not far from our ramp. Not that big, that's for sure, but that will keep our dwarves busy. Just like to make sure nobody's got too much time to get into trouble, get bored or think about things too much. All these things, as we know, detrimental, I think, to a good, efficient fort. Okay, once we have got a tunnel, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to delve an area for our farm and for the associated industries of food and drink, of weaving, of clothes making, and certainly we're going to build some stockpiles. Once we've built some stockpiles, there is going to be the issue that our miners and our farmer are going to be far too busy hauling food from the cart to the stockpile. So at this point we will have a quick look at the Dwarf Therapist, and we're going to ask our miner and the farmer, who've got important jobs to do, don't have to collect wood or stone or food, at least in the case of miners. So a miner, where's my farmer? Yeah, we want the farmer to be able to haul food. So commit that, and we're going to find our way back to the fort. It's really good to have a nice long tunnel and plenty of space between the main fort and the outside world, or the inside world if you count the caverns. We're going to make sure our cavern entrance is routed through this same area as well, and then past this stairwell we're going to have our farm, at least our first farm, which is going to be growing some plump helmets for our dwarves. The plump helmets can be used to brew for wine, and there we can get the seeds after the winemaking process and use those to plant more spawn. So that's going to be the first thing we need to do. The plump helmets can be eaten raw if we've got nothing better to eat. Our dwarves will eat those. So we need to get them brewed, and after that we're going to be looking at the other farming industries. But we're going to build a plot, and it's going to be a 3x5. Plots should normally be sized one less than a multiple of 4. So in this case 15. 3x5 is one less than 16, which is a multiple of 4x4. The math of Dwarf Fortress. That's in order to make sure that fertilization is carried out in the most efficient way. Once we've got potash and we're able to fertilize those fields. Now I'm just planting pump helmets right at the beginning, because that's the one thing that we really need to make sure we've got going. So we'll go into the field and we'll select each season using A, B, C, D, and just highlight the crop that you wish to grow. Sweet pods, we'll grow those, but we'll get this field planted first. I'm going to lay down a stockpile for seeds only, so that's a food stockpile, and then I'm going to edit that pile so it has no barrels available, and so that there is just nothing there apart from seeds, and seeds will be in the bags and not kept in barrels. So it just stops the farmer having to carry a barrel around when he's planting seeds. It's a good habit to be in. And then we've got here a couple more caverns which we'll delve in order to put in some general food stockpiles and to put in some workshops to start our farm industry. Once we've got this dug out, we'll be able to start setting up we'll be digging down deeper into the stone so that we can start building our workshops and our living areas. But if we can use the miners to dig through sand or silt or clay or mud in the early days, we'll be able to get them trained up much quicker. Miner will, I believe, get the same skill reward from digging through an 11 by 11 of sand as it will do the same thing through granite, which will take very much longer. As you can see, the hunter has cancelled his hunt as he's got no ammunition. One of the orders which we should edit at the beginning of the game is the forbid order to ammunition. We need to be claiming our ammunition, I believe. Otherwise our hunter is going to run out of bolts. Unforbidden those. I've never quite got to the bottom of how that works. But anyway, as long as we've got a hunter, we really should have a butcher's workshop, and a tanner's workshop. So we'll put those here by the surface, and I'm going to put a stairwell here to take us down into the deeper levels, again at the other end, this end of the long tunnel, so that our fort is separated by this field of injury, whatever we can come up with in later episodes. And we've got quite a few barrels. We have quite a few barrels at the cart, so the dwarves are going to be busy with that now. And I set up this next food stockpile, which is going to be set to exclude seeds, so that we have one pile for seeds and one pile for everything else in barrels. And away we go. As you can see, the field of plump helmets has begun to be cultivated by our farmer. Cogsack, the hunter, is again frustrated by the lack of ammunition. I'll have to do something about that, or not. Maybe just stop him being a hunter, give him a better job to do. So everybody's working, and we're heading on towards certainly in the second portion of this episode. We've made good time, and in the next episode we're going to be delving down into the rock below and building up a workshop, building up some train tracks. So we're ready to start exploring hauling, and it's all going to start coming together very quickly. Right, once we have got the stockpiles set up, we're going to need some workshops. As I say, still is important because we're going to need to make some booze, and we're going to need to get some seeds back from the plants. If you set the I've got a cat trying to get in and out of here. Be kind to cats. It's the motto, and don't keep them trapped in your room for any purpose. There is a still being constructed, and then we're going to build a farmer's workshop. These are all available through the build menu, followed by W for workshop, and a kitchen and a loom. The loom we don't have anybody skilled to use. Clothes shop, we don't have a clothier at this point, but this way we don't forget to leave space for anything. And those industries are all based on plants that we're going to be growing or that we're going to be picking from the upper area. Once we've got somewhere delved out underneath, we're going to be able to bring our dwarves under the surface instead of them just hanging around up here on the surface. So F1 takes you to the car. It's a hotkey. You can set up more hotkeys using Shift and H, and then F2 to set the hotkey, and Z to zoom in on the area. And then we've got we'll have two areas set up as hot areas. Everybody's hanging out up here at the moment. We're going to bring most of them down underneath the earth. We have got a couple of jobs to do up here. I'm going to set up a pasture using I for activity zone and N, and then Shift N to bring up the details for that pasture. I'm going to use Shift G to bring up the grazers, which is actually a breeding pair of horses, which is handy. They've brought us here. They've pulled our cart from the mountain home, and you can eat these, you can butcher these animals, or you can use them as breeding stock if you're lucky enough to have a male and a female, which we do. So we're going to leave them up here in this surface farm as they can keep an eye out for things at the moment, and there's nothing in the caverns yet. We haven't breached the caverns yet, so there's no indoor plants growing, there's no underground plants growing within our fort, so they can stay up here. Shift P will show you any animals that haven't been pastured. We're going to pasture the dogs up here, and they can keep watch, and then the cats are going to be put in a second pasture which is built over the farming area, and the cats will just keep an eye on any horrible vermin which might come in and attack our food stocks. The horses and the turkeys can stay up there for now. The dwarves will all come down once So with the turkeys, once we've designated a meeting zone, to find out where that meeting zone is going to be, we're going to dig down into the ground and locate some stone layers, because dwarves much prefer to be living in rooms that have been delved from stone than dirt, which is, I suppose it makes sense. We're going to need a trade depot. Always try and remember to build the trade depot before your trade delegation arrives. Otherwise, you can have a missed opportunity in the first winter or the late autumn, I suppose. It's still mid-spring, so we've got plenty of time to get some things going, sell to the depot. But we'll get it built as soon as we can. These guys are digging down. This is excellent news. We've struck platinum, we've struck limonite, which is an ore of iron. We've struck, I think, bituminous coal, all sorts of stuff down here. So that looks really good for the long-term sustainability of this fortress. Yeah, that's excellent. What's this place called? Outpost Asobadil. Board walls. Well, this is about it from board walls. And before I go, I would just like to give a shout out to Toadie and everybody who's ever supported this game. I'll see you in the next video.